We're going to switch you over in 5, 4.
All right. How's it going, everybody? My name is MoonBlazeWolf, and I am going to be playing Fire Emblem Three Houses today. So this is a house bid war. So let me just kind of quickly explain how that is going to work. I will be choosing the house that I'll be doing for the speedrun after the prologue battle. So that means you have about 5 minutes from the start of the run, roughly, to pick. I believe I heard Black Eagles is in the lead right now. So if you want to change that up, I think a reasonable donation will be able to do that. So I know, if I'm guessing, you know, from all the different folks that we have watching, probably got a good mix of fans of the 3 different houses. So if you want to get your house, let's go ahead and get those donations in. It's all going to a good cause. We also have a outfit bid war and the name bid war. I'm going to get started here in just a second. I'm going to be playing in normal classic mode today. Normal is just normal difficulty. There's no reason to up the difficulty for the speedrun in any way. Classic is so that when we lose characters, which unfortunately I'm going to be doing on purpose, we don't have to deal with them for the rest of the run. So if you have some favorite characters, I can't promise you they're going to survive till the end of the run, but you know, we'll get there one way or another. So with that being said, I think I'm about ready to get started. So let me go ahead and I'll choose the difficulty, and then time will start on my go. So I'll give you a countdown in just a second here. Once I get the all clear here. We're ready? Sure.
The winner for the character name is Cuckoo, which is K-U-K-U.
K-U-K-U, all right, we got that. And then the other 2, you got about, like I said, you got about 5 minutes. So if you want to get donations in for that, you can still do it.
And then we have a quick $1 donation from Firebird Lover that says, that isn't a tux. And it looks like that one went for the Kirby incentive, I think.
Okay, well, thanks, Firebird, for that. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get this underway. And I'm going to go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So welcome to Fire Emblem Three Houses, aka Anime Hogwarts. And we're going to get going here with kind of like some setup. I'm going to be choosing female Byleth. There's a reason for that. If it is relevant to the house that I'm running, I will let you know.
I see.
And then we've got Cuckoo, Professor Cuckoo of the Cuckoos. Oh gosh, I know what that was for now. Thanks. So Professor Cuckoo ready to go, and our birthday is ready to go, and we are off to the prologue battle. Fire Emblem Three Houses is played in a series of chapters. Each chapter is a battle with a social story monastery section in between. So we get a lot of action, but we also get some downtime, which is kind of cool for a marathon run, in my opinion. So I'm gonna get going here on the prologue battle momentarily. And you're going to see me changing a couple settings here and then skipping a bunch of stuff.
Stay focused.
A lot of the first half of the game, we're going to be soloing for the most part with Professor Cuckoo. Depending on which house we get, some of that will change. But in the second half, the game is basically split into 2 halves. The first half is the Cuckoo show. The second half is more or less the house leader show. So, without spoiling a whole heck of a lot for folks who haven't seen the game before, story-wise, I'll try to kind of dole out some of that information as we're going along.
Careful now.
All right, and I got a good level up here. We need to talk a little bit about RNG and stats in this game. All of your stats that you get when you level up are RNG dependent. You have a weighted chance of getting any particular stat. The 2 stats that I want the most are speed and strength. So I got a speed and a strength there, which is good for me. because if you don't get the RNG going your way, you can have kind of a range of byleths, which, or I guess cuckoos in this case. And if you get stuck with a bad cuckoo, it's going to really make your run kind of cuckoo. So hopefully we will avoid the worst of that. All right, I'm just skipping a bunch of cutscenes here. We're going to have our first monastery section coming up. Once I am done with that, that's when we will be choosing our house as well as our attire for the run. As we venture into the school of Garrigmach, aka Anime Hogwarts. So, if we have any more donations that have come in, we can go ahead and read those now. We're going to be kind of running through here.
I assume you're to start.
Doing this first set of stuff.
May I ask a favor of you?
Well, right now there are no donations, but I just want to give a few facts about the Carbon.org Foundation. So the average American's carbon footprint is 50,000 pounds a year, and a donation of $240 to the Carbon.org Foundation will completely offset that. And for every $1 donations, that can be used to plant a tree. For $5 donation, that'll offset one American's daily water use. For a $20 donation, that can offset a flight of 10,000 miles, and every $50 donation can offset an apartment under 1,000 square feet. So if you would like to offset all that carbon, I know I would. You can type !donate and donate towards the Carbon.org Foundation and see all of our wonderful goals and bid wars.
Okay, and I need my house.
Yes, I will get your house, and it is Black Eagles.
All right, we're doing Black Eagles today.
You are hot.
They are.
Our choice has been made. We are going with Edelgard and the Black Eagles today. I'm very excited about this. And then which outfits did we get? Is it the servant's attire?
For the outfit, it is servant attire.
Okay, that'll be fun. So we get our party is going to be made to order. So we actually had since I submitted this, there was an update to the game, and one of the things they added, which is kind of nice for this run, is I can actually change all of the outfits at once. So originally I was only going to change the main character's outfit, but because of this new DLC patch, I'll actually be able to change all of them. As characters progress throughout the game, some of them will drop off. But the main character, Cuckoo, will be in her servant's attire for the entire run. I am happy to share. And you'll see what that looks like here right about now.
So, Dimitri, when we take...
Whoops, wrong side.
A moment.
You look at...
All right, and now we got our first actual battle. This battle is actually one of the scariest moments in the game for me. It's really important that the battle goes smoothly. This is also it is the only battle in the game where I don't have this awesome tool in my toolkit called Divine Pulse. And Divine Pulse allows me to back things up if a mistake is made or if I get a bad RNG roll. So at this point, I am totally dependent on not screwing up, basically. And we're just going to hope for the best here. And if I can get through this fight cleanly, I will be very happy.
I'm sure you're... I am Ferdinand von Ayer.
And that's everybody's favorite meme of the game, Ferdinand von Ayer. That is his calling card, famous line, I am Ferdinand von Ayer. You may know him from such hits as I am Ferdinand von Ayer.
I've lost.
Stay focused.
Are you...
I will prevail.
Put me in there. What?
just trying to kind of focus on my inputs here, make sure I do everything exactly right. Part of what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get maximum experience on Cuckoo. The other thing I'm trying to do, which I will explain a little bit later, is I am trying to keep Edelgard at level 1. And there's a reason for that involving the mechanics of the time skip. This game is essentially played in 2 parts, and then the second part, Edelgard's going to automatically level up to level 20, and when she does that, she's going to get some really, really good stats if I can keep her at level 1 between now and then. So that is part of my goal for the first half of the run here. Cuckoo got level 5 already. That is off to a very good start here. And this battle looks like it's going to go pretty smoothly. Just got to finish off the other professor here, so.
All right.
Okay, so that was chapter 1. That went pretty well. That's what's called a mock battle, so if I'd lost a character during that battle, it would not have affected. They would have remained with me, because I mentioned earlier I'm playing in classic mode. From here on out, with the exception of one other battle, that is not the case. So if I lose characters in battle, they are gone forever. And we're going to get our first full month in the monastery here. This is, in a way, kind of like the tutorial month. So I am required to do certain things each week. You'll see the calendar coming up here, and I kind of go through the calendar. After this month, I'm going to have the option to skip through most of the calendar, and that is definitely going to help things out in terms of increasing the pace of the speedrun. So. But usually each month begins with a cutscene or 2, and then, you know, you kind of get into the meat of things. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to certify Byleth to, or Cuckoo, to her first beginner job, which is called Myrmidon. It's going to give her a slightly better chance to get strength skill ups as we go along. And now I have to do an Explorer.
I guess if you...
Going to use the opportunity to complete this quest and also tag a couple things on the minimap so I can fast travel to them later. You may notice as I'm running around the monastery, I zoom in and I point the camera at the ground. That is to reduce lag. It does help a little bit. This game, for whatever reason, in certain points is pretty laggy, and we just want to do certain things to mitigate that if we can.
Thanks for your help.
All right, and that is sort of my task list for this first month. Oh, actually, I forgot one thing. Scratch that. I have to go talk to Miss Edelgard. I was like, why is it not letting me end the month? All right, that's right.
It's a... As for... Is there any...
All right, now we can end the month. And now we're going to get into the instruction section here. Each student, you can set their goals if you want to. I am choosing specific goals for the 2 characters that I'm planning on keeping for the remainder of the run, which is Edelgard and Lindhart. I also missed a social point with Edelgard earlier, so I'm going to do a couple manual instructs just to make up for that a little bit. And now we're going to begin the lecture.
May I ask a question, Professor? What?
One other fun thing about this speedrun, as I'm sure everyone's enjoying the outfits so far, it is slightly faster to be the worst possible professor that we can be. So each month I have that little cutscene there with a choice of 3 answers. I'm going to be trying to give the worst possible answer every single time, because that is the way that we go fastest. Skips cutscenes and level up little cutscenes, so. All right, and now we're going to do a practice battle. This is required, and we're going to use the opportunity to farm some XP on our Cuckoo. So if we have any donations, this would be a good time for those.
Right now, there are no donations, but I would just like to give some thanks to our restreams. We have a French, German, and Japanese restream. and they're all wonderful. For the French restream, we have Baguette restream. For our German restream, it is Germensch. And for our Japanese restream, it is Japan_restream. So please support their restreams. They're doing wonderful things.
Yes, thank you very much.
So
I just want to quickly mention too, because we are at a video game music event. One of the things that is amazing to me, this game has some of the best music I've heard in a really long time. I'm sure you can get some of that over the stream. If you're a fan of video game music, this is a fantastic game. And a good piece of advice that I got a long time ago is if you're going to speedrun a game, make sure that you like the music because you're going to hear it a whole heck of a lot. So always good advice. Yep. And I definitely take that to heart in the games that I speedrun, so. All right, so some load screens, some fun stuff I'll talk about on the next load screen, but our students want to learn stuff in the meantime. We don't have time for that, it's a speedrun.
I won't forget.
Seems simple.
I'm getting it. I think one step.
All right, and now we're going to get the third option, which we're only going to use one time the entire run here, which is we're going to take a seminar. Seminars allow you to get skill, and we're going to use it to get some additional faith skill on Lindhart and some sword skill on Cuckoo. All right, and now we are off to the Chapter 2 battle. I lovingly refer to this battle as the field trip. It is not a fun field trip. Not everybody's going to make it back, so... yeah, so if you have any favorite characters in the Black Eagles house, odds are this probably not going to end well for them. But you know what? You know, life is rough, and part of the educational experience is maybe going to the School of Hard Knocks a little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit of menuing here first. We're gonna send them out into the world to fend for themselves. So that's part of the problem here.
Is that the one? Is that the one? Thanks a bunch. Is that the? Thanks a bunch. Come back.
All right, you're ready to go.
So, stay focused.
I'm gonna unequip my
I will
weapons
prevail.
from a couple characters here.
As you wish.
For me in the speedrun, the
That's my
MVPs of
cue.
this fight are the two enemies that are barreling down on me here, and I don't want them to have any issues getting their work done today, which is to teach my students a lesson about life. So
Stay focused.
this is another one of the fights that Professor Cuckoo is basically going to be soloing this fight and farming a bunch of XP. Nice thing about this particular house, I know we had Golden Deer and Blue Lions also as options. Golden Deer in particular, the XP routing is very tight. So each house has its own unique challenges. I'm pretty thankful for the Black Eagles that XP curving is not really one of them. And I've been, not to jinx it, I'm probably going to jinx it, but I've been getting pretty decent levels up so far, so this is looking like a perfectly serviceable run so far, if I do say so myself. I can't wait to jinx it. Alright, so that timed out perfectly. All of our students are going to be in the infirmary for the rest of the run, except for Edelgard. And we have finished off the boss of this level.
Thank you.
There's basically two kinds of battles. There are battles where you have to completely clear the map, and then the majority of the battles are what are known as kill the commander battles. So that was an example of that, where all I actually had to do to end the fight was get up there to that boss and take him out. So
On our way out, I have.
So here's one of the interesting things about the Black Eagles route in particular. My relationship with Edelgard matters, and the reason for that is, without getting too into spoilery details, the Black Eagles route has a branching path, and you can either get the Black Eagle's run, or you can get something called the Silver Snow Path. If we do not want the Silver Snow Path, so that requires me to get, by the time I get to the time skip, or technically chapter 11, which is one chapter before the time skip, I have to get to C+ social status with Edelgard, which is essentially 2 levels. So I'm going to be doing stuff in certain cutscenes. I'm going to be gift bombing her later, just to show her how much I care about her. But mainly it's so that she likes me enough to take me along for her adventure in the second half of the run. So, all right, and now I'm going to certify for my next advanced job, which is Mercenary. And we're going to do 1 explore here. I need to unlock battalions for everybody and the battalion guild. Battalions are kind of like little add-ons for your units that give them abilities as well as additional stat. So for our important units, we want either the abilities or the stat.
What do you
in
require?
this case, we're going to be getting
Do you
the
want to keep him
Stride,
alive?
the Stride battalion. We'll talk about Stride more next chapter, but Stride is one of
In
the
the world
3
cannot be
abilities of the game that makes it essentially breaks the game for all intents and purposes for the speedrun here for us.
May I ask? So,
The game itself is completely glitchless. Everything we're doing is completely within the bounds of a casual playthrough, and we're not going to be doing anything, weird or shady or anything. But we are going to take advantage of the most broken abilities in the game, and we're going to optimize the heck out of the things that we do have control over. So, one thing here, we got to say happy birthday to Edelgard. So, happy birthday, Edelgard. Happy birthday to you. And now it is time for the Chapter 3 battle. This run has 18 chapters, by the way, the Black Eagles route does. The other ones have 22, so you kind of spotted me a little bit of extra time on this run, and I do appreciate that. Try to still make it enjoyable without being painfully delayed in any way, so. But yeah, this is the Chapter 3 battle we're going to be doing. It's essentially another solo cuckoo fight. There's not a whole heck of a lot to say, so if we do have any donations or anything, this would be a good time.
proceed. Stay focused.
You think we're...
While we currently do not have any donations right now, we'd just like to give you a little bit of an idea for some of the bid wars we have coming up. Right after this run, we have Mario Kart 8 bonus tracks being ran by Amber, and there are 2 bid wars available for that. There is the glider option. There is either cloud or paper airplane, or the tire color, which you can donate for either blue or red, and for both of these bid wars, there's currently nothing in the lead. So even for a donation of $1, you can use, you can set either your favorite glider or your favorite tire color in the lead. And just so you know,
Stay focused.
every $1 donated to carbonfund.org can be used to plant a tree, and every $5 donation offsets one of Americans' daily water usage. And every $20 donation could offset a flight up to 10,000 miles. And every $50 donation could offset an apartment under 1,000 square feet. So, if you guys want
Stay
to help assist Carbon Fund to help make the world a little bit more green, get your donations in and go for these bid wars. Because honestly, there are a lot of really cool stuff. And so you guys should get your donations in for that, for every single one of the bid wars we have.
Absolutely.
mindful.
And I appreciate the distraction from my first little bit of awful RNG there. It does happen sometimes,
Careful
so
now.
we got through it though. Ooh, this is getting interesting. Let's see. I probably should heal once just to be safe here. For all the fantastic offensive stats that my Cuckoo has here, I'm not sure the defense is keeping pace, but you know, we have that Divine Pulse mechanic now, so if we do make any mistakes or we get bad rolls in battle, which I'm pretty sure there I got crit on me, then we can just kind of roll it back and try again. So no problem there. Now, generally, if we do have to reset anything, I have to do something different. So what I did there is I healed up an extra time. We'll have other battles where the reset or the way to get around that bad RNG is actually to do an attack with a different character or do a different attack, because every time you do an attack in this game, the way to think about it is the game rolls a random number between 1 and 100. So if you reset it and do something different, well, let me say it this way. If you reset it and do the exact same thing, it's going to roll the dice the exact same way again, because that part's not changing. But if you reset it, do something else, and then try again on the thing that you actually cared about, that is when you are going to get that different roll, which is important. I have to, after I give Lintart some bad advice here. I love that butler outfit, by the way. The napkin physics are just astounding to me. And then I'm going to do this cathedral session. This is going to be kind of like a social point bomb for Edelgard. All right, and continuing onward. We're actually skipping this entire month, so aside from that, I'm kind of just going through right on to the next battle here.
My efforts.
And this battle is going to be the first one where we use that stride mechanic that I picked up earlier when I went to the battalion shop. The stride mechanic is going to give me +5 movement, and you'll get to understand pretty quickly as the run goes along why giving yourself +5 movement is very broken. To put it in context, my job that I'm using right now, Mercenary, I believe, has a movement of 5 as well, so it's essentially doubling my movement. And I'm just going to be flying up this map to get to the commander as quickly as I can.
Stay focused.
But first we have to shoot this guy.
I will prevail.
Death.
Alright, so there's stride, and there we go. Just kind of skipping over that annoying middle part of the map. We'll deal with the Death Knight later. Actually, the Death Knight in the Black Eagle's house, he's a friend.
Stay focused.
Your. It's no.
So that was Chapter 4. Not much to say there. That's the way some of these battles are going to start going. It's not quite blink and you'll miss it, but it's kind of a really elaborate setup, so you can just go flying across the map in one or two turns right to the commander, and then just take them out with your strongest attacks. Chapter 5 is not that kind of battle, though. This is actually one of the more interesting battles in the Black Eagle speedrun. So we'll get to it in a minute, but Chapter 5 is essentially one giant circle. Think of like a spiral, and the boss is in the middle of the spiral, and I'm starting on the outside. So we're going to have to kind of work our way through the map for a while. Along the way, I'm going to pick up what is definitely for the speedrun the most useful accessory, which is called the accuracy ring. It does exactly what it sounds like. It gives you higher accuracy, which is going to make a huge difference on several critical bosses later on in the run. But first, we're just going to skip this whole month.
My efforts.
Not a total.
One thing I have to do here, I'm going to change Edelgard's goals because she learned a skill called weight -3. What I want for Edelgard for the second half of the run is actually to be a Wyvern Rider, and in order to do that, she needs Axe level B and Flying level C. We have a little bit of leeway in terms of getting that Flying C, so what we do in the meantime is we put on that heavy armor focus, and she gets that weight -3 ability. That's because her class that she classes into during the time skip has really, really bad speed, and that helps to offset that a little bit by reducing the penalty that she gets. So
Well,
All right. Getting set up here. This is another solo Professor Cuckoo fight. We are joined by kind of like a guest, old knight named Gilbert, who's going to help us out a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of work my way around the spiral here. Enjoy the awesome music. There's not too much to say until we get there. Then the second half of this fight is going to be pretty intense as well, so maybe a good time for any other donations that came in, but otherwise just enjoy the nice music. I got a speed and a defense that level. That was good. My defense was not great. My strength is amazing, and my speed is getting there too. So this Professor Cuckoo has been doing her homework and doing really good with these level ups so far. Very happy to see that. My movement on this stage is actually pretty specific. I'm trying to kind of draw certain enemies to me and keep other enemies from getting to me. Ooh, I missed there. That's bad. Hold on. Let's see about that. I don't want to miss there. That guy's kind of important. So let's see. I think I'm gonna
stay focused.
take an extra turn here. We'll see what happens. They can't really get to me because of the way the map is configured. Let's see if this helps. Actually, the knight just came up to me there, so that didn't really work either. Hold on. What I don't want to have happen is what happened there, which is that he uses a
stay focused.
what's called a gambit on me. Gambits are bad. So that was a small error on my part. Let's see about this now. Hopefully I won't miss again. Definitely did not miss. Okay. And when I use my gambit attack, which is what I did there, it gives an ability called staggered.
Be mindful.
So just like it sounds, I staggered him and whoops. I staggered him and he can't get to me, so that's good. We like it when that happens. And I do have my accuracy ring now, so now I just need to kind of finish working my way around the map without dying, do a little bit of inventory management here. This is going to be just fine.
Stay focused.
Just a little awkward there because of that miss, but the path is pretty much clear now to the boss. As you can see, everybody's kind of chasing me, which is the benefit of going around the long way like I did there. Also, my NPC friend Gilbert is kind of holding some of the fire off to the right there, although he might die before I get to the boss. We'll see. It's not a big deal if he does, but ideally I'd like him to come help. Alright, so finish the boss off here. And then he is going to transform into a big scary monster, which is not something that we have seen before.
Oh my. The least.
Big scary monsters in this game have a special, they basically have special rules. We'll see in a second here. He's got these tiles around him. And hold on, that one's broken. You can kind of see on the tiles, like they're either like whole, partially broken, or they can get completely broken. And what you want to do is you want to break those tiles because that's how you deal maximum damage. You can also see those little diamonds there. The diamonds are kind of like how many rounds of shield he has.
Stay focused.
I'm in a pretty good spot right here. I'm actually standing on a defense tile, and I should just be able to sit here and punch him until he's dead. So. Should have probably gotten off the thing there and punched him, but that's fine. I'll just do it now. Alright, that is Chapter 5. That's one of the longer, probably the longest battle in the entire run. 26 turns, just because we have to go around the spiral there. There's no good way to kind of cheese the fight in the case of the Black Eagle's house. In the Golden Deer house, you actually do have a way to finish that battle on turn 3, which is pretty cool.
Get +1.
But on the plus side, we have that
Professor,
accuracy
I have-
rig now,
See,
which is going to
please
make the run a lot more stable.
His punishment. If you, the church, you please.
Couple mandatory cutscenes
I
there, and now we're back to the monastery for
Professor.
Chapter 6. There's some interesting social stuff going on Chapter 6. We are going to have to go back into the monastery, and we're going to be doing that with a couple things in mind that I will talk about as we're running around. So in the meantime, I don't know if we have any donations or anything that you want to read. This is, a good break for that.
Currently, we do not have any donations, but again, encouraging you guys for these bid wars that we have going on. Again, Mario Kart 8 coming up for the glider and tire color. Get your donations in for those. Those are going to be really cool. You have a chance to put your stake on the run that happens. So get your donations in for those. And then coming up later tonight, we have the Super Monkey Ball debug percent run, and there is a bid war for the monkey choice. You can donate for I, Baby, Gongon, or Mimi. You should get your donations in for those. Because, again, you want to have a stake in the run that says, hey, I caused that, get your donations in for those. Just $1 can make the difference. Also, we want to give a shout-out to Sounddrop. Sounddrop is a
I can
no-risk
assist with that on
music
it. I'm available.
distro service for VGM and anime cover song artists. There are 0 hidden or recurring fees. You can pay only $9.99 once per cover song for licensing. Free accounts for you and your collaborators with revenue splits included. Sounddrops handles royalty payments on your behalf. So shout outs to Sounddrop for being a wonderful partner of Midwest Speed Fest. So yeah, we've got a lot of donation. We got a lot of donation incentives and goals and stuff that you can donate for. You can see all of those by doing !donate in chat. So definitely get your donations in for every single bid war and goal, so that way we can raise a lot of money for carbonfund.org.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate.
Yeah, I'll just say from a runner's point of view as well, we love it when people donate for our bid wars. So let's do that. I feel like Professor Cuckoo should be in that monkey ball bid war as well. I don't know. So I'm doing a bunch of different stuff here. It's kind of like a mishmash. We have like a required monastery segment to recruit a particular professor and character. So we're also going to use the opportunity to start our gift bombing of Edelgard here and make sure that we are ready to go in that regard. So we're coming up on this Chapter 6 battle. And we also get our first level up with Edelgard support, which is right on schedule there, so that's perfect for the run. But this Chapter 6 battle is super, super cool. Playing the game casually, I think this was my favorite battle on my first casual playthrough. You have all these amazing mechanics with things like teleport tiles and door keys. It also gives you the option of routing all of the enemies or defeating the Death Knight, which is a pretty scary proposition. The Death Knight is like way powerful than any of your characters is going to be at this point if you're playing the game casually. We don't do any of that in the speedrun. We actually just recruited Shamir because she has a ranged attack with range of 3. And we're essentially just going to shoot the Death Knight through the wall. So, yeah, sorry about that.
I'm good now.
Like in all speedruns, walls are merely a suggestion, so.
Stay focused.
It's going to take a few turns. I actually need that door key for later. We actually had Annette come to help us in this battle. She's one of the Blue Lions characters, but we need her for that rally ability because it keeps Shamir from dying
Stay
to
vigilant.
the Death Knight's counterattacks. So yeah, 3 quick shots through the wall. Did not have any RNG issues there, and we're done with Chapter 6. And now we're on to Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is, one of the last major hurdles that we have to clear in the speedrun.
Professor,
We'll talk about it a little more once we're setting up for the battle.
yes.
The other thing that happened story-wise is Flane is going to join our house now,
If we eat that, I see.
and so we have to kind of get the lowdown on that here.
Professor, after all,
We're not going to use Flane in the Black Eagles run, so I'm going to let her kind of help me out a little bit in the Chapter 7 battle coming up here, and then another one later on, but that's about it for her. In the other house runs, she ends up becoming very, very important, so not for this one, though. So the Chapter 7 battle is the Battle of Eagle and Lion. It's kind of one of the highlights of the first half of the game from a social perspective. Basically, we're putting all three houses on the battlefield against each other in a giant mock war and coming to finish figuring out who's going to come out on top. So you'll notice when we get to the battle, I have a lot less units than everybody else. And the other two armies also, they brought a bunch of like their friends to help out too, so it seems like a pretty unfair fight. But don't worry, we'll get through it. Although I will say for the Black Eagles route, Black Eagles probably gets the hardest Chapter 7 out of the three houses. So
not a total.
I understand.
hopefully things will happen in a way that is good. Have to get a quick cutscene, social point from this cutscene here coming up.
Professor.
The social point routing for this particular run is super interesting. One of the things that I know people put a lot of work into at the front end. I just want to give some quick shout outs while we're loading up here. This seems like a good time for it. To Claris, Kirby Masta, and Sunny Muffin, who are kind of like the original three runners and routers of this game. And they made a huge help. They were a huge help to me as I was learning it, and still continue to be. So thank you for all of the hard work that you put into this game, and I hope you're enjoying the run. All right, if I can get my controller to work, there we go. Okay, so this battle.
Let us away.
Everybody's coming for us. It's just a huge mess of a battle, and not only are we have to deal with the usual randomness, but we also have to deal with the randomness of what the other house characters do. So at this point, I don't actually know like who's gonna emerge victorious, basically. So we're kind of waiting to see that a little bit. What I want to have happen is I want the Golden Deer to have a good day on the battlefield, because the two scariest units in the entire Chapter 7 manifest are both members of the Blue Lion's house. One of them is bearing down on me right now. It's Ingrid, that Pegasus Knight there. I think I took care of her there, thankfully, on the swing back. Unless she's still chilling over there, I can't tell. I think I see some wings. Hold on. Do a quick heal here. Where are you? Nope, Ingrid is right there. She's coming for me. See how this goes. Oh, we got her. No problem. Dedu is a much bigger problem. We'll see if we end up having to deal with him here in a little bit.
I will need all my strength.
In the meantime, I'm just going to keep Flame close and let her keep healing me for as long as she can stay alive. Because this is considered a mock battle, if I lose Flame or Lintard, it doesn't really matter. So I do actually kind of want... I have to make sure Edelgard survives, but the other two I don't care about as much. So I'm kind of using Flame as a heal bot here. She also helps with my defense just by standing next to me. So that's like really nice of you, Flame. Thank you for that. But I'm hiding here in this safety bush and just kind of letting everybody come to me for the first part of the battle. Second half of the battle, I'm going to have to take the fight
A striking display.
to everybody else. But for now, we're just kind of seeing what happens. It looks like... Not sure yet. I think I'm going to have to come over here and deal with Sylvan. Yeah, Dimitri actually had a good day. It looks like he's coming to say hello here, so... See if Flame can live another turn. Nope. But honestly, as far as this battle goes, this really isn't that bad yet. It could definitely get worse, but for now, I'm not unhappy with how this is going. So hopefully it'll stay that way. Yeah, I got mages after me now. It's kind of scary. And I also... oh, this is bad, actually. I got gambited. So you see those little sweat drops next to me. That means... Ooh, I'm okay. Okay, Felix is there. Those dorks are all there. Let's start going after Felix. I did survive that somehow, thankfully. And I don't have to deal with Dedu this battle, which is very exciting.
Be mindful.
Very, very happy about that. So now I just need to kind of work my way up the battlefield here, take care of the last couple stragglers, and we should be good to go.
Stay focused.
Inventory management pretty important here. Your weapons do have durability, so I'm always trying to choose the right weapon for the occasion, which is just something you kind of learn playing this game a lot. Those two are still fighting each other, which is really nice. They all kind of got bogged down together. I do have to make sure I take care of this guy, so... Yeah, all things considered, this went pretty well, just because I did not have to deal with Dedu, who is an absolute truck and really, really a pain to deal with, so... No complaints on my end. I just have to come down here and finish off Claude now. I toggled on their aggro, by the way. That's those purple tiles there, because I don't want to aggro them until I'm in a safe spot to do so. So there we go. That is Chapter 7, and that went about as smoothly as it can go, so I'm pretty happy about that. Thanks. I also just hit 27 strength, which is basically all the strength I need for the entire run, so I'm also really happy about that. Getting your stats in this game is like one of the most frustrating things about speedrunning it. So the fact that I already have all the strength that I need for the first half of the run with a few chapters to spare is pretty fantastic, and I'm very, very happy about that. So doesn't mean that there aren't other stat-related issues and RNG-related issues that I might run into later in the run, but for the time being, I'm pretty pleased. So this is going pretty well. We got the Chapter 8 battle coming up. This is one of those battles where the story of the game, kind of like the insidious underbelly of Garreg Mach, starts to come into focus a little bit. For us, it's going to be a pretty quick battle, but for when you're playing the game casually with the story, this is definitely one of those chapters where the morally ambiguous parts of the game start to come into focus a little bit more.
That is...
It's definitely one of the underrated features of this game, in my opinion, is just the story and some of the dynamics and consequences that you have to deal with morally and ethically as you're playing through the game. So, pretty cool game, and each of the three houses is obviously different, gives you different aspects of the story, and it's kind of neat how once you play through all of them, it sort of brings the entire picture into focus. So, and you get to kind of decide which one you like best based on all of that. So.
Well, we're...
All right. So there's not too much to say about this battle. I'm just going to use stride and kind of fly down the map. So if we have any updates or anything that you need to get in, now's would be a good time.
All right, we have a $1 donation from JJ34 that says, "Give me blue." Thank you so much for your donation, JJ, and that is going to put the blue tires in the lead for Mario Kart 8, I do believe. Yep, exactly that. So, blue is now in the lead with $1, but red is not far behind, obviously. So if you would like to see anything change there, get your donations in and get them in quickly. And there's also the bid war for the glider option. So as you can see, we have until the end of this Fire Emblem run to get these donations in. So get them in quickly so that way we can see a really awesome Mario Kart 8 run.
absolutely. I was going to say, I'm glad that's not for the Blue Lions run, because we're a little bit late for that, unfortunately. But blue tires will be pretty cool. So I have to admit, I have a soft spot for the Blue Lions because I think that they're very underappreciated in the grand scheme of the game. And they're kind of like the kid that gets picked last at recess every time. So I do love speedrunning Blue Lions. It's something that I've done in a marathon before as well. So I like to see, like, all the houses getting some love, but it's nice to see the Black Eagles today as well. So, all right, that was Chapter 8. Not too much to say about that. We kind of just ran down the map and killed a dude with our big flaming glowy sword. So it's kind of like a Smash level almost. But yeah, we're coming up on Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is one of my favorites in the speedrun. This is the dance comp month, so we're going to get our second of, there's kind of like 3 broken abilities in this game. The first is Stride, which we've been using. That's the one that gives +5 movement. The second one we're going to get this month, actually we're going to get both the second and the third one this month. The second one is called Dance. Dance gives your character an extra turn, which obviously is really, really good when you can kind of double up on your turns. When you have really good characters that can kind of do broken things. The third one is called Warp, and I'll talk about Warp a little bit when we get to the battle, but for now, let's enjoy the dance comp. And I also need to talk about why we're choosing the character we are for the dance comp as well. So,
May I ask a favor of you?
this particular run, so we're doing Black Eagles. Black Eagles is the reason why we choose a female Byleth for the speed run in a situation like this where I didn't know which house I would be running. And that's because of this guy.
Wow, I'll be there.
Sylvain is kind of a player. We need him to win the dance comp for us, and in order to do so, the only requirement to get Sylvain to join your party is be female Byleth, or in this case, female Cuckoo. So that's why we chose female Byleth, is so that we can recruit him there. And I'm going to finish gift bombing Edelgard here, and should make it so that we are good to get that next... Oops, I have a lost item too.
Still.
How did I know that was yours? I'm a speedrunner, Edelgard. I know everything. Okay. And that's it. For some reason, I had a moment of... like uncertainty, which does happen when you have all 3 runs in your head at the same time. So,
Professor?
so this is going to give us our C social rank with Edelgard, and we are good to go for the run now, or C+, I should say. So we got that nice and early. Don't leave anything to chance.
I'm really getting that.
There's nothing worse than when you show up to do a Black Eagles run in a marathon and end up doing a Silver Snow run, which I don't know how to do, so that wouldn't have gone well. But anyway, it is time for the dance comp, as soon as I sort of tell Sylvan to be quiet again. And we have a little tradition for the dance comp because they all do the same dance. It is a thing that we all know how to do, so I'm going to try my best to join them. And you can't see my head. I'm trying to look at the camera here. Let me duck down a little bit. And if I do the spin, I'm going to tangle myself up in the cable, so you're just going to have to deal with me. Anybody else inspired by the music, you can get up and dance as well. So, but that's time. That's all, folks. The way the dance competition works is as long as you choose a character with enough charisma, you will win automatically. So that's why we choose Sylvan as our dancer. And we now have a dancer. They can use that dance ability, which again gives me an additional action. So pretty broken for obvious reasons. This is kind of another special month story-wise. This is the month where they all kind of meet up and say, let's all meet back up here in 5 years. And sure enough, that's what happens after the time skip. So, but before that, we've got some big bad monsters that we have to deal with. So. And Lindhart, basically my white mage, just learned Warp, so so we've got all 3 of those broken abilities now. I'm not going to use Warp for anything particularly broken in this battle, but you'll see it soon enough. I like to think of Warp as the teleporter from Star Trek. Basically, you get beamed up, and then it beams you back down to a different tile, you know, a certain range away from you. And the nice thing about warp is it ignores terrain. So we're going to use warp later on to basically just kind of get up onto platforms that we wouldn't normally be able to get up onto. I went to go change Flane to Dancer because in the other two houses, Flane is actually the Dancer. So in this run, she is going to be wielding the Onslaught Battalion for me. You have one job, Flane. All right. So this battle is kind of interesting. We've got 4 big bad beasts, one in each corner of the map.
Very helpful.
And we've got to figure out how to corral them. So we're going to do a little bit of crowd control here first. We're going to use our gambits to kind of lock them into place. And I whiffed on that one, which is pretty bad. So let me think how I want to do my reset here. This is RNG resetting. I'm really hoping Lindhart doesn't die there, but we'll deal with that if it happens. I really needed that to happen, so...
Stay focused.
Actually might have been able to deal with this without Lindhart, just because my Cuckoo is so strong. Yeah, 28 strength already, but assuming Lindhart doesn't die, this will be fine.
I'm on it.
And then here's the dance ability. I'm going to give Cuckoo another turn, and we are going to bop this guy again. Lindhart, don't die. Thank you very much. And now we have to deal with these 2 other ones. This is going to take me a little bit longer than usual.
To work.
Let's see what my options are here. That's not going to work, so... I think I'm just going to play this safe. Edelgard's doing nothing, which is exactly what I want her to be doing, so thank you for your service, Edelgard. It should be fine as long as I don't die here. She didn't die, did she? Oh no, that was because I killed the beast. We're good. Thanks, Gerald. I couldn't quite figure out what happened there, but that was a good thing, so we're fine now. Whoop. Sure. Let's see if this helps me out. I'm trying to get a heal onto Cuckoo. I don't think it's gonna... Okay, good. Perfect. And I do need Flame to actually do this, so that could also be a problem. We'll see. This part's not going to be a problem. I actually want to redo that.
Stay focused.
Want that tile down and broken. Okay, and then
I'm on it.
this guy's going to go down. Hold on. Let's just do it. Do it the easy way.
Never doubted you.
Alright, and now I need Shamir to not die for 1 turn.
To work.
Let's see here. Okay. This is a little weird. This is not a situation I'm used to having to deal with, so we're going to make the best of it. See if I can get a little bit of health down here for next turn. Okay, nothing bad happened, so that's good.
Think this through.
A little worried about you, Shamir, though. Please be careful. Okay, that didn't work. Right, so
Stay focused.
what is your range?
I'm on it.
Nothing. Okay.
I will
We're gonna
prevail.
do this then. Stride. Hopefully this will be enough to get me over there. If not, I might just let Gerald finish it off. Okay, we're good. This is a very odd situation. Like I said, I honestly can't remember the last time this happened, so making the best of it. Sometimes part of speedrunning this game is just figuring out how to get through each individual fight. one of the fun things about me as a speedrunner is I came up on randomizers. So my big game that sort of got me into speedrunning was the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise randomizer. I know Bahamut mentioned that earlier during his River City Girls run. But this game, in a lot of ways, is a randomizer because you have to deal with so many different situations. You have to deal with the RNG that the game gives you. You just have to deal with a lot of stuff, and it's good to be flexible and nimble and just kind of know the core mechanics of the game and how, some different ways that you have to kind of get through each individual level. So that was a case in point there. That definitely went off the rails, and we were able to pull it back no problem. So. Okay, and now as a reward, we get Chapter 10, which if you have a low-strength Byleth, Chapter 10 is the scariest fight in the entire game, and it's not even close. Thankfully, we have a very good Cuckoo Byleth who has been working out and getting buff and has plenty of strength, so this shouldn't, fingers crossed, be a problem. A very important story thing happened at the end of Chapter 9 that I'm not going to talk about.
I'm getting. I understand.
But there's a reason that Cuckoo is very sad right now. All right, so this fight is a two-part fight. For the first part of the fight, we have to deal with one of the most evasive bosses in the game. Her name is Cronia, and she stands on a Guardian tile, which makes her defense even higher. Thankfully, we should be at the damage threshold where we can defeat her as long as we don't whiff. There's not a ton of great backup strats for this fight, so if you don't have it a lot of times, you just have to either hope to get lucky
Stay focused.
or just kind of keep rolling the dice until you get the roll that you need, which is
I'm
not
on it.
very satisfying when you're doing stuff like PB attempts, but it is what it is. So we're speedrunners. We sign up for a certain amount of luck affecting our runs. So hopefully we get good luck here. Not too worried. Let you all know in just a second how this goes. And perfect. That is, if you have a average to below average Cuckoo, that is the scariest round of combat in the entire game by far. So we got through it, everybody.
Perfect. I'd like.
And it was all thanks to RNG. All right, and I'm good to go here pretty much. The second half of this battle, Cuckoo kind of goes Super Saiyan here and transforms a little bit, gets a little bit buffer and stronger, gets a better weapon, and we're going to put that to good use immediately on this boss here.
But
So that is Chapter 10. And Chapter 11 coming up. This is another pretty important story chapter. This is where, regardless of what house you're playing, you kind of figure out the main overarching story of the first half of the game. And in the case of the Black Eagles run, we sort of find out that the puppet master that has been sort of pulling the strings behind the scene is Edelgard. So.
Worst case scenario, I can do the switch. It's just going to toss me 30 seconds.
But first, we have to go through some cutscenes and other Fire Emblem Three Houses things. There's our new overpowered Cuckoo. Still keeps her servant attire, which is very nice for the donation incentive.
It's all because
I'm getting it.
All right. I have to go do a very important cutscene here. It involves Ferdinand von Eyer's dad, so that's how you know it's important.
Professor. Perfect. It will take. It's there is.
Thank you. Father, from
Probably wants to know what you've been teaching, you've been getting taught at that school if you showed back up in a maid outfit, but
no.
I am Ferdinand von Eyer's dad.
Thank you. After this, we are out of.
Alright, and it is time for the Chapter 11 battle. This is a pretty cool battle. This is the first time we're going to use Warp to good effect, especially because in Chapter 9 I sort of needed Lindhart to do other things. So there's been a sort of shadowy figure that's been sort of haunting the game to this point called the Flame Emperor, and we are going to learn in this chapter the Flame Emperor's true identity. Before I do that, I don't have a Strider anymore, so I'm going to put that on Shamir. And swap them on the map, and off to the races.
To work. I'm grateful. Stay focused.
You first. Alright, yeah, Cuckoo is super strong here.
I'm on it.
We're going to kind of just line up our characters here, and then we're going to use all three of those broken abilities that I was mentioning earlier on this next turn to hopefully finish things off. First, you have these things called the Creststones. They're getting swiped. Edelgard, no swiping. And, okay, so there's Stride.
I'm grateful.
Positioning is very important here. Here's Dance. By the way, if you dance your character and they've got Stride, they get another turn with all of that extra movement as well. So, yeah, pretty broken. And then here's Warp. We're going to beam Cuckoo onto the platform here. And bonk.
So.
All right, that is that battle. And we're almost to the second half of the run in terms of time skip versus not time skip. So we have one more big showdown, which is Edelgard basically threw it in the face of the leaders of Garrick Mach here, and we get to choose. We're going to kill Edelgard or protect. Well, we are going to protect. So this puts us on the Black Eagle's path for the second half of the run. Whoops, and I can actually skip that cutscene. So that's one of those things when I was playing the game casually, I actually did Black Eagles first, and it was super confusing when I got to this that chapter that we just did, because I was like, wait a minute, is she good or bad? I can't really tell like what she's doing. Eventually, I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, we can work with this, and I'm glad that I didn't end up on that Silver Snow route, which is kind of like the church route is the other name for it. I know people who they also were kind of flummoxed by that cutscene and didn't know what to do, and they did end up on the church route, and is not what they wanted. And they were very sad about that. So, but I guess you can always reload your save. Alright, this is kind of like our monastery for the month. No calendar, we're just going to run straight to the battle. And this is kind of like our big one of our big showdowns here. It's kind of a cool battle. It's essentially on a countdown timer. So I just need to survive for 11 turns until Rhea shows up. More specifically, Edelgard needs to survive because she's still level 1. And that is what I want, but it does present a problem if she draws any attention to herself. So hopefully we will not run into any issues that way. All right, let's get rid of everybody else. We don't need you for this fight. Here we go.
I will prevail.
The best strategy for
focused.
keeping Edelgard safe is go hide in the bush, please. Bushes are your friends. They will keep you safe. Alright. And Cuckoo is just going to kind of take on all comers here in the middle of the map for a while. Really just need to kind of keep this middle part clear, because then Edelgard won't get anybody going after her down the bottom of the map. We'll just take a couple turns to do that. I don't know if we have any donations or anything, but this might be a good time for some of those.
We currently do not have any bid donations at this time, but there are more bid wars again that we're still hoping to get some more donations for. We have Mario Kart 8 glider option. Again, Cloud and Paper Airplane are currently tied at $0, so get your donations in for those. And then we also have the tire bid war. Currently, blue tire color is in the lead for with $1. So just for the small price of $2, you can change the tire color to red. Ooh. Also coming up later, we have a Super Monkey Ball debug percent run by Helix, and there is a bid war for the monkey choice. You can donate for I, Baby, Gongon, or Mimi. So if you would like to see one of any of your favorite monkey from the from Super Monkey Ball, you can get your donations in for those. Also, for some donation, other incentives, we have for the whole marathon, for if we reach $80 towards this incentive, Scarian will wear a Waldo costume, and you will see him periodically throughout in the Waldo costume. And then we also have a bunch of different donation incentives for Shenmue 2. There is a minigame showcase, a Jump for Joy glitch showcase, as well as the Duck Race minigame. So get your donations in to see all of those. And then we want to give a quick shout out to our restreams. Midwest Speed Fest would like to thank our international restream partners for restreaming Midwinter Speed Sprinter 2020. We have a French, German, Portuguese, and Japanese restreams. So thank you guys so much for helping out Midwinter Speed Sprinter through your support of the event.
Absolutely. Yep. Don't mind me. I'm just driving Cuckoo around the screen here. This game uses gyro controls on the menu, the load screens, and it's basically just like the greatest thing ever. So I wish every game did stuff like that. Because you got to have something to do during the load screens. So, all right. That reading of donations and information actually took 5 years. So it's now 5 years in the future, and so thank you for all those donations. Holy cow! But yeah, we have reached what is known as the time skip. So we are now in the second half of the game. I'm going to do a little bit of setup and menuing here. If you're fans of menuing, this is like my time to shine on the menuing front. So get strapped in for that. But yeah, this is everybody's kind of gone to more like adult mode, I guess. So the time skip mechanics, there's some pretty interesting stuff that happened here. So by keeping Edelgard at level 1 for the entire first half of the run, the way that the game's level up mechanic works when you hit the time skip is Edelgard has a advanced job class. I believe hers is called, it's some sort of Lord class. It's not High Lord, that's Dimitri's, but it's some sort of Lord class. What the game does is it actually changes her to that class at level 1, and then gives her 19 levels at that class. Now, I was mentioning earlier, whenever you have a more advanced class, you have a better chance of getting certain stats. So if we had, when she gets 19 levels worth of stat with that advanced class, it just basically breaks her stats, and she is just like ridiculously powerful. This is a good thing, so we are going to reap the benefits of that here. I'm just doing my menuing here. Looking good. Whoops, not that one. That one. Oh yeah, I need to store that. Oh yeah, you need a thing.
Is now a good time to read some donations?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we have a $5 donation from Newt that says, donate now, and I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Newt, for your donation. That donation goes for the bid war of the Cloud for Mario Kart 8 Glider. So that is currently in the lead with $5. So for the low price of $6, you can have the paper airplane as the glider option. Also, we have a $20 from Bahamut. I probably pronounced that wrong. Bahamut. Okay, thank you. And the comment says, "Let's have Octopath in Japanese." So that means now Japanese is currently in the lead for the language option for Octopath Traveler with $20. And if you would like to see it in English, you can also donate for that. Thank you guys so much for your donations.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, I was just making sure I didn't screw anything up horribly there. I think we're good.
I'm awake.
Making sure we take the time to get all those fantastic donations read before this first battle or the second half of the run. So, yeah, we'll find out how buff our Edelgard is here in just a second. But you can check her out. She is one bad mother. She looks pretty good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, 36 strength already. That is nuts. 19 speed is actually pretty good for her at this point as well, with all of those automatic levels that we got. And yeah, so we're going to be able to do some pretty ridiculous stuff here. She also gets kind of like her relic weapon for the second half of the run. The relic weapon is called Amir. Amir has a combat art that we are going to be using to great effect. It's called Raging Storm. Raging Storm is kind of like Dance. It gives you an extra turn after you use it. Now, when you're playing the game casually, you get discouraged from using this too much because of durability, and it takes 4 of the 20 durability on Amir to use Raging Storm. However, the way that we have the speedrun routed, we are going to be able to use all 20 charges of Amir, so 5 Raging Storms, and then we're going to be able to repair it once and then use all 20 again. So just again, another example of all of the optimization that has gone into this run. So.
A question.
Got some more professor time here. We are still the professor, even though everybody's kind of grown up. They still love and respect and appreciate us. So. Kind of a lot of cutscenes in this particular month, but we'll be getting to the battle soon. We're going to be kind of facing off against Claude here.
Another.
Can I use this? Still.
Flying is very broken in this game, similar to other Fire Emblem games, so it's going to allow us to ignore things like terrain, other enemies. We can kind of just fly over them. We can basically just do all sorts of ridiculous stuff because Edelgard happens to be riding a big old dragon. So much like in real life, I can only assume that if you were riding a big giant dragon wielding a flaming axe, everybody would get out of your way as well. All right. So we got this big old map here.
Let's clean up.
We got to kind of get to the end here, and we're going to do that in one turn. So. All this movement again is very precise. I want to get the most bang for my buck, and we're going to use Raging Storm here for the first time. Flyers also have what's called the Canto ability, which means that I can do my movement either before or after I take my action. So in that case, I took my action, moved, got another action, moved, and then took out Claude, also by Claude. So sorry, everybody. It's a little bit faster to kill Claude. He's kind of like the animals, so. Save the Claude, kill the Claude.
No, you kill the animal, just like we kill Rosh. We didn't kill Rosh.
You saved Raj because he's pure and beautiful.
Rosh is not pure and beautiful.
Pure and beautiful.
All right, so the way this kind of works, just so you know, we've only got 4 chapters left. The second half of the Black Eagles run in particular is pretty compact. But the way the battles work, we're kind of alternating between extremely easy battle and extremely terrifying battle. So this is one of those really terrifying battles coming up here. A lot of really precise stuff. I need a little bit of luck with the rolls, and hopefully everything will go smoothly. So we'll be there in just a second. We're going to be headed back to... Actually, we're defending Garrigmach in this particular battle. So, but first,
Let me ask you.
to give out some more bad life advice.
Technique.
Okay, so the big thing about this battle is this is our first, I think this is our first battle where it's a kill the commander battle, but we actually have multiple commanders. There's 3 that we have to kill. So everything that we do is very precisely routed, and it's kind of it's a little bit of a house of cards. If one thing goes wrong, I basically lose the ability to finish the battle, so I'll have to reset, at least reset the RNG and try again with some different swings. But this Edelgard looks like she was taking some good lessons from Professor Cuckoo. Pretty strong, and hopefully we'll be able to handle this with no trouble. All right, and we'll find out pretty shortly because it's not going to take very long. So
Let's clean up.
Well done.
so that's stride.
I'm grateful for the
We're going to fly down here to a very specific spot.
What's the plan?
We're going to get danced, and off we go. So, mission 1, bonk this guy. This is the easy one. He's a pushover. Step 2, kill Sedith. He is not a pushover.
Trespassing on.
So let's see what the result of that fight was. Ooh, I did take a hit. This might not be doable, but we're going to give it a shot. So he's gone. Now I basically just have to survive 1 round. I'm going to go to a really specific spot and hope to survive. And I did not, so okay. So we have to go back. That's fine. No big deal. We're going to go back to here. And before I go do that...
What's my strategy?
That fight, we're going to have Byleth, or Cuckoo come down
For
here,
the Empire.
reset my RNG, and let's try that again. Same thing. We're still going to try it again. I've got more RNG resets in the bag, but she's kind of taking a lot of damage from Sedith there, so...
My team.
Yep, we died again. Okay, well this happens sometimes, so we're just gonna keep trying here. We can do an RNG reset with Dritza, who is pretty weird to be perfectly honest.
For the Empire.
All right, so let's try this again.
Trespassing on.
The problem is, if I do anything other than that sequence of attacks with Edelgard, I don't kill him in 1 turn. So, okay, so this is not working. I'm gonna try. Let me see if I can do 1 more reset. Otherwise, I might just reset the fight.
I'm awake.
Can probably do a heal here. Yep. Healing also resets your RNG, so hopefully that was the magic combination. Oh, that's definitely worse. All right, we're just going to do this. We're going to retreat, and we're going to try again. Because this is a pretty easy battle to set up, and we got a little bit of time here. So I don't know if we have any donations or anything, but give you a chance to do some shout outs while I'm trying to get through this tricky fight.
We currently do not have any donations, but for those of you guys who might be new to the Midwest Speedfest community, we would just like to give you guys a good welcome. Midwest Speedfest is a Minnesota-based speedrunning community that has partnered with local conventions such as VGM Con and 2D Con to showcase Midwest speedrunning. Since 2015, we have organized 13 marathons and have raised over $10,000 for nonprofits and charities. I hope you guys enjoy the marathon, and thank you all for watching and donating.
All right, so let's hope we get some better luck this time.
Trespassing on.
It's pretty close. Nope. All right. I need to. Let's see. We're gonna try this again, and then I don't really have any alternate strats for this. You kind of just have to rig it. You have to kind of just keep trying until it works. But the problem is she is getting hit basically every time. So I'm not 100% sure there's a whole heck of a lot I can really do about that. So let's see here. See if we can get this to work. Yep, we got it. All right. So just takes a certain amount of time, and then just got to kill the last commander here, and we're done. We're through. So, that fight is a run killer. Pretty notorious run killer, and you know, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, and unfortunately that time we didn't, but we got it eventually, so made it through. And that was all RNG. There wasn't anything I was doing there other than just kind of re-rolling the dice until we got it through. All right.
Lady Ray.
We're still doing great on time, though. Thank you for giving me Black Eagles, so I have tons and tons of extra time to deal with, so. We got 3 more fights left. This one's kind of a fun one. Everybody gets into the action on this fight, and it's pretty elaborate. We're really kind of, we're doing a lot in about 3 or 4 turns, because this is a fight that has 4 commanders in it that we have to kill. But in addition to that, we also have to farm the crafting materials, which sounds like such a weird thing to be saying in a speedrun, for that Amir, so that we can repair it for the final battle. So. There's a lot going on in this fight. It's definitely one of my favorite battles to do. Edelgard, for some reason, does not want to ride a dragon anymore. I don't get that. Seems like a no-brainer to me, but I don't know. We'll fix that when we get to the battle. So.
Cornelia.
Now.
Still a long.
I'm getting it.
This spot.
All right, so like I said, this was one of my favorite battles. A couple things I have to do set up. First of all, I have to get Edelgard back on her dragon because, like I said, for some reason she doesn't want to ride a dragon. I don't get it, but you know, well, she's learning. You know, that's why she's our student. We're gonna teach her the ways of things. And once we get everybody in the proper position, this fight is, like I said, very elaborate, really interesting, lots of stuff going on. So we're going to use a lot of these abilities that we've been talking about. We're actually not going to use Raging Storm, that special Edelgard ability, at all this fight.
Challenge.
And so, this little stuff. This is really, it's so optimized, these battles. So I basically just changed positions on 2 of those characters.
Let's clean up. grateful. What's my strategy?
Use a gambit here. We haven't really been using a lot of gambits lately, but that's going to freeze those 3 guys in place.
For the Empire.
I am. So this.
There's commander number 1. There's actually 5 commanders. I forgot one. He's my favorite one, too.
What's the plan?
Meet him in a second here. I call this guy Commander Boomer. I don't know why. He's just, he's in every single one of the 3 houses speedruns, and he always dies in 1 hit. Like, you always just, like, go up to him and one-shot him, and for whatever reason, it's just the funniest thing to me, so. He's always very, like,
Understood.
like, exuberant, too. Like, he's, you know, I'm gonna get you, and then you just go up with it and wreck him. It's pretty funny, so. Alright. Oh, man. Edelgard is doing so good. I'm so proud of you, Edelgard. Okay, so now we got to do a couple things here. First of all, we got to take care of Felix. Felix is notoriously... He's definitely a pain. Like, see, I actually just completely whiffed there, which is not my fault.
What's the plan?
I'm going to do some other stuff first, actually.
Understood.
There.
He's got this special ability that allows him to basically dodge attacks,
Pardon me.
even though it doesn't say that he's going to do that, so he like takes reduced damage. I don't remember the name of the ability, but he is a really big pain to kill, so we got through that.
Awake.
That's good, actually. Oh, that's... yeah, I am going to reback that up, actually. Because I just want to drop a quick heal on Cuckoo here.
What's the plan?
And I have to keep moving everybody up the battle, because everybody has a role to play in this fight. This big robot guy here, he is the one who is holding those crafting materials that I need, so I'm going to take him. I'm not going to completely kill him, but I need to basically bust him into pieces. So I have to break all 4 of his tiles here. That's tile 1. I'm kind of getting into position for the other stuff right now. Should be good here.
I will.
He's got 2 tiles broken. Shamir is going to take care of the last 2 here, hopefully. Yep. And dance. Neat. And break. And we got our Agarthium, which is very fancy. Right. And then we got a commander here. Everybody likes to talk when they die.
Can't fall just
I don't know
yet.
why.
Maybe.
Okay, and then there is Ingrid. We took her out. So that's all 5 commanders, all in 4 turns. So yeah, that's a pretty elaborate fight. Definitely one of my favorite ones in the speedrun. So that went pretty well. And we got 2 more to go. So that was kind of a fun, easiest one. There's not too much that can go wrong in that Chapter 16 fight. Chapter 17 is can be a nightmare. So kind of like the one that I struggled with a little bit ago, we're going to hope for good luck on this one. We're going to be kind of taking out a couple different commanders. It's a huge map. They're basically, the commanders spawn in 3 different corners of the map, and we kind of start in the other one. So it's a lot to manage all in the course of a couple turns, but if everything goes right, we should be clear, and then we'll be on to the final battle after that. So here's hoping. But first, some cutscenes.
So.
Bet y'all wondered where Dimitri got off to. He's back. He also turned into a pirate.
Man, so
All right, and we are officially done giving bad life advice. Success. We are the worst professor.
each mile.
We got a woohoo for bad life advice.
Respect.
I don't know how I feel about that. All right, so the movement in this battle is very, very precise, and I do need a couple things to go my way in terms of the RNG rolls, but like I said, here's hoping it all goes well. It's kind of the big showdown with Dimitri and the remnants of the Blue Lions here, backed up by Rhea, who is the kind of the leader of Garreg Mach. There she is. I don't know why there's no music in this cutscene. It's kind of creepy. Was it something I did, game? All right, let's go.
We are uncertain.
Let's clean up. Well done. What's my strategy?
All right, so
Understood.
like I said, everything I'm doing here is very, very precise.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
There's a reason I bought that pure water, and it's for this turn.
What's the
right
plan?
here, so
For
I'll
the
make sure I
Empire.
use that. All right, we're all set up here. Here is commander number 1 of many. I have faith in you, Edelgard. Don't let me down. All right, that was turn 1. Turn 2, Rhea shows up. Hey, Rhea. And we are going to greet her with a Raging Storm. Looks like
I don't.
it's going to do the trick. Perfect. And now we have to make our way up to Dimitri here. We're going to use the last of our Raging Storms to get there in this turn. Amir broke, that's fine. And now is one of the moments of truth. We need to be able to take Dimitri out here.
I will.
And we got him, so that is step 1. Step 2 is
What's my strategy?
to be determined. And get
Let's clean
everybody
up.
else into position here.
I owe you now.
I live.
This is looking
Understood.
just fine.
I will not die here.
A couple of fancy movements here. We're going to use Zritza to take out Dedu before he turns into a big snarly monster. And
You will never.
everything hit, so now we are just going to cross our fingers and hope that on the enemy phase things go the way that we want. We want Dedu to die here. That's 1. And the other thing that we need to have happen is Mercedes is going to come down here, and no problem for Professor Cuckoo. She took her out. So we are through, and we are on to the final battle with our entire team intact. So final battle is actually really easy and fun. So that is the last scary thing that I have to deal with in this speed run. So hope everybody's been enjoying it. The final battle is pretty epic. I think we'll have a little bit of fun with it since we have some time. I've been not doing any of the cool like in-battle combat, sequence animations and stuff because they take a lot of time. But considering that we've got about 9.5 minutes left before we hit estimate, I think we'll go ahead and let you all see what it looks like when Edelgard goes cuckoo on the final boss here. All of the build up, and it's going to be over so fast. It's going to seem very unfair. I genuinely feel bad for this poor dragon because she means well, and it's kind of not fair that she has to deal with basically Edelgard holding her down and beating her mercilessly. So, but hey, that's Edelgard for you. She doesn't mess around. All right, so we are going to repair Amir.
Is that thanks a bunch?
We are going to replenish our battalions, and we're going to put Stride there, and we're good.
Let's clean up. I'm grateful for the Empire.
What's the plan?
Raging Axe, or Raging Storm number 1. If I've been saying Raging Axe this entire time, I apologize. There is...
Never doubted you.
It's an axe, it's Raging Axe, but it's actually Raging Storm. Hi, Big Giant Dragon. Guess what?
So it's true.
I've got 4 shots of this ability left. Let's do that thing that I was saying we were going to do. Big epic final battle here. Everybody can enjoy. I'm going to be looking for numbers that are nice and big, and maybe the word critical. As you can see, this thing has a lot of life to chew through. But this Edelgard turned out really, really good, and I think we're going to be just fine. Even though we're speedrunning, we do like kind of the fun things about this game, which is seeing all these cool like anime battle cutscenes, you know, over and over again. Oh no, Amir broke. It's fine. We still got Brave Axe. Whoops, I skipped through that on accident. We've been using Brave Axe a lot. Brave Axe actually has a special ability where it gets to attack 4 times instead of 2, so that's why we've been using that in a lot of things too. Yeah. Let's count it down.
You're weak.
There we go. It's not time quite yet, but all my work is done here. And time. Thanks everybody for having me. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate being able to show off this game. It's been a passion of mine ever since it came out last year, and I really just love speedrunning it. It's such a fun mental challenge, and I appreciate the opportunity to do this for a good cause here at VGMCon. And I also just want to say really quickly, I'm going to be running this at RPG Limit Break as well, so I really hope everybody can check that out in May. It's kind of a big deal for me, and I'm really excited about that. I also stream 5 days a week, so you can check me out on my channel, twitch.tv/MoonBlazeWolf. And thank you again so much for having me. I'm going to be quiet and let the epic final cutscene play for as long as y'all want, and then we'll be done. So.
All right, thank you, MoonBlazeWolf, for that awesome run of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. We're going to quick throw it over to an intermission and start getting things set up for Mario Kart 8 bonus tracks by Amber.